King is back, baby. I'm on gas. Yo, Flex with it. He's fat.
You there, sitting at home, acknowledge me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Turnbuckle Weekly Podcast. We're back.
We're
back in the studio.
again.
Leon took a little visit down to Cashville, Tennessee to have a little good time. And unfortunately, during the time that we were gone, we lost a legend. We lost a brother in the business. We lost Mad Max, and it's really hurt my heart. As silly as that sounds, I've only known him for a short amount of time, a year maybe, but the impact that guy leaves on people's lives is incredible. So today, especially today, to honor his memory, we've got somebody else super connected to Max. I'm not going to waste any much more time. I was going to do a stupid, silly little intro. Leon cuts promos on toilet paper or whatever I was going to do. Not today, guys. Today, I want to do this serious. I want to do this right. We're going to get down to this, but we got somebody here formerly of the stunt squad. That's how I'm familiar with this young man. Now he's off on his own, doing his own thing. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have another Owensboro boy, Jett Mosley. How you doing, buddy? What's going on, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm currently sitting in my car in the rain.
That's what's up.
Oh, is it raining down there?
Yeah.
It's raining in the borough. Can you believe that?
Wow. Man, my old lady's working down there. Didn't even
Raining
text
in the
me and
borough.
said, hey, honey, I'm going to have to drive back in the
Sometimes
rain.
you gotta grab a hold.
Yeah, got to grab a hold.
Grab a hold in the borough.
Brother.
So, you have no idea how excited I am to talk to another Owensboroian. It feels real good to not talk to Muhlenberg County and Breckenridge people all the time. I want to talk to some Davis County folks every once
so
in a while.
very much.
I'm born in Owensboro, raised in Alabama, lived in Florida, a little bit of Texas. I'm my own cousin. I'm
You
that
probably
country.
are,
I mean,
actually.
I'm my own cousin. So I'm just gonna get straight down to it, man. I know that you started kind of with the stunt squad, but I want to go a little bit before that. We'll talk about them in a minute because I love those guys, all those guys. So I want to go back to even further before them. And how did you decide that this is what you're gonna do? What were you watching as a kid, wrestling wise, and being like, they can do this, I can do this?
So, I wasn't like dead set on wanting to become a professional wrestler. I've always liked it, but as I grew up, I kind of slowly went away from it. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but as I was starting to get a little older, I'm in high school, I'm like, oh, it's whatever, And I'm actually a high school wrestler at the time, so I wrestled in high school, and I did all that, so I have the amateur background. But then I get hurt in amateur wrestling, and I was just bored at home because I didn't go to practice. Coach wanted me there, but I said, Coach, I'm hurt. What am I going to do? Just sit there? It's the end of the season, too, And so I started watching wrestling, and my parents, my dad and my stepmom, were going to WWA shows at the time, and they took me to one, and I kind of fell back in love with the wrestling, And my very first show I went to, Ray Waddell main evented the Coliseum with Nick Depp in a Fans Bring the Weapons match, and that got me hooked. So it kind of, I was kind of on the lower end of not liking it as much as I was growing up. But when I was younger, I loved the hell out of it. Oh, sorry. I said a bad word.
Okay, so we could totally do PG-13. Leon likes to keep the F-bombs to a minimum. PG-13 works, though.
Casey has already used all of them for the year. So.
Yeah, I'm only allowed one F-bomb, and I've used 3. Two of them within just like a second with MK Swift because he made fun of my creative characters on WWE, and it hurt my feelings. I made him in the game, and he didn't like that I just used the options I could to match his thing. I was like, I made a guy based on you. You should be happy. He was, but he wasn't.
I listened to that, and I laughed at work that one day. I just laughed out loud when he was like, "Yeah, man, this is stupid," and I just laughed.
I will say that I love MK Swift. Don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of offended that he thinks that I need to go to a mental asylum for my 2K19 time.
You
and I'm pretty
should.
offended by that. Why?
You should.
Why? It's 2,000 hours. Who cares?
Anybody who plays that game for 2,000 hours and ladies let them touch them, there's something wrong.
You're just not me.
2,000 hours? I don't remember that part. Holy crap, Leon.
1,889 hours in 2K19 on the dot.
Oh, brother.
It's gross, man. Like
over 115 created wrestlers over a 3-year time span.
Wow.
If not more.
I will give you what credit's due. That is something I can never do.
Thank you.
no, because we have things like lives, and like I don't know what you were doing, dude, but like I have played.
I wasn't married in 2K8. I wasn't 2K18. I wasn't married in 2018. We didn't get married till 2021. So for those 3 years, it was just me in my bedroom at night.
Yeah, it definitely was you in your bedroom alone at night. But so we got the amateur background going in, which I can 1,000% see that. Now that you said that, I wrote it down because I was like, I was right, but I never try to guess at that because last time I guessed at that, they were like, no, what are you, stupid? And I was like, oh, yes. And I felt terrible. But so then you go, you see the show, get you hooked in. You start your training. At what point does Chris Waddell come to you and say, all right, here's what we're going to do. I got these guys over here. I got a superhero, I got a stunt man, and I got a mini Mexican guy. You're going to fit with those guys.
So originally I wasn't supposed to be with them.
Okay.
There's it's out there now because when I did the system shoots, there was a whole talk about how we were going to get into my debut. And originally, I was supposed to be in a tag team with a tag team partner who left. And the idea was supposed to be masked luchadors. And I was going to be a luchador. And I was okay with that because it was going to get me on the show.
Exactly.
So the stuff you saw me wearing in the Super Stunt Squad was the stuff I was gonna wear as that tag team member.
Really?
And the name that was used by me and Josh Onyx was supposed to be the name for me and the other tag team partner, the Fly Guys.
Really? Oh yeah, I forgot about that because you were with Onyx too.
Yep. Me and Josh had a little stint, and it was a good time, but sometimes the good things come to an end.
Well, I mean, yeah, you kind of got to do that a little bit. Tag teams, I'm a huge proponent of tag team wrestling. It's one of my favorite things ever.
We just had a tag match in Madisonville, me and Lizzie versus the Golden Gods, and I forgot how much I love tag wrestling.
Right.
I forgot, honestly, I forgot how much I loved it. But I don't want to say that in front of Chris because he'll say, oh, tag team.
Was it who was it? Jen was trying to. She'll come over and talk to us before the shows.
So Jen wanted Clay Williams to tag with Ryan Ramsey. No, they were a tag team. She wanted to put Clay and the Golden Gods together and make like a comedic stable because she thought it would be funny and she would watch it.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, but she goes, every time I take it to Chris, he says no. So I don't know, maybe he's off the tag team thing.
But he does love a good faction.
I don't want to give out too much, but Chris hates tag wrestling.
Oh, wow. Okay. Huh.
I'll just say that. So
interesting.
But yeah, the tag team. Well, I was supposed to be in a tag team before the Super Stunt Squad, and So after he left, I was kind of in the air of what I was going to do. And Chris wanted me to stay in the mask and all the stuff I was going to wear. So I was like, yeah, well, we spent all this money on these designs and all that stuff. And I didn't want to spend more money on these designs. So that's why I rocked with it for well over a year, almost a year, kind of. And yeah. But then one day we were in the Malco movie theater parking lot.
Okay.
We went to go see the movie Flash, and then it was me, Chris, Clay Williams, and Tyler Hawkins.
Well, that's a ragtag group of fellas there.
We were all just chilling. Kayfabe, I hate
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Actually, Tyler Hawkins, screw you. Cost me my match against Bo Sawyer.
Which we were there for that. So I'm really upset about the Madisonville thing because we were moving heaven and earth to go to the Nebo show, right? We are moving everything around that we could possibly move around, and then I forget what stopped us, but something stops us from going, and then we find out it's like one of the best shows of the year.
It was a really good show, honestly.
Dude, it's upsetting, because every show. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say, some of them are just stinkers because I haven't been to a WWA show that I haven't enjoyed.
No.
But I'm also someone that looks at value. I don't sit there and be like, okay, like we were talking about the new Skate video game that dropped. It's Skate 4.
I heard about that.
It's free to play. It looks like Fortnite on a skateboard. Is the way the graphics look, right?
Game on here,
and
actually.
I'm playing it because my buddy's like, "Come on, you got to play Skate." And I'm like, "No, dude, I'm a Tony Hawk Pro Skater guy. I like, American Wasteland and Thug 2, and those games are great for me. Skate was just kind of out of my realm." But then my buddy's like, "Do you like it?" And I'm like, "You know what, man? I didn't pay any money for it." So it's an entertaining game. I look at value rather than substance. Did I get my money's worth? And whether I pay $10, whether I pay $15, I always get my money's worth at a WWA show. Yeah. And I get my money back in dividends now because my son, Samuel, Samuel come with us to the show, and that's all he's talking about for 2 weeks. It's just I literally after Bowling Green, we had to drive down to Owensboro, pick the baby up, and then drive back up to Hardensburg. So it makes like a 3-hour trip back. And as soon as I get in the door, it's 11:30 at night. Sam, I just hear ka-clock, ka-clock, ka-clock. I hear his little crutches hitting the floor. Sorry, I just got a text I was reading. But I just hear the crutches hitting the floor, and then he comes out and he's like, so how was the match for Swift and Onyx? And I was like, dude, I just literally just walked in.
I mean, if I were him, I'd be wanting to know,
Right? It was
I've always ever since before I even joined, I always loved talking about the WA because I feel like it had something that made it memorable. I feel like every show there's something memorable that sticks out to somebody, and it makes them want to talk about it. It makes them want to go back and see another WA show. And that's what I love about these fans, because every time they see something, they think it's, they remember it, and it makes them want to come back and see more,
We're part of them fans.
You're such a mark.
Yeah.
You're such a mark.
By the way, I want you to know, just from a big standpoint, that not to mark out or anything, but I'm a big Jett Mosley fan, and
Leon, I got something to pick out on you.
Okay.
When you had a podcast with Tyler Santos, and Tyler Santos said he mollywopped me, which in fact, I'm not going to let him say that, but he did beat me using dirty-handed tactics with Mad Max. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
That's right.
You said you were a fan, but not a big fan. So, Leon, is it because I'm on the phone right now?
No. So look. So I'm going to be brutally honest because Casey has picked on me enough. I think I can say this and get away with it. So you know, you get to where you like certain guys, and some people have to grow on you. You have grown on Casey tremendously.
A lot. I was like, this kid. I was like, there's something here. And then every week, I lean over to him, and I'm like, it's like this kid gets better every time we show up.
And so we were sitting there, and I'm a big Jett Mosley guy, and I told Casey, I think it may have been after Independence Day. It may not have been. Maybe it was a couple shows later.
I was like, you know what I've noticed? Because I got to address Santos. He reminded me.
I was like, you know what I've noticed about Jett? And he goes, what? I said, he's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I said, and he's fast. He's so freaking fast. And so I was like, I'd love to have him on the show. I said, he loves the crowd. He's so energetic. And then you came around the walkway, you know, on the front row at the last show Saturday night, and you give us high fives, and we're sitting there and we're like, yeah, that's my dude, we're having him on the show. And Casey sits down and he goes, I think you broke my wrist. And I said, what? He said,
no, look,
I think you broke my wrist on that high five.
When I had my hand down, I sat my hand on the rail, and you were like, what's up, boys? And you went bow, and my arm went slam off the rail, and I sat down, and like my old lady's like, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing. I was like, I'm good. And then I sat there for a minute, and Leon keeps looking at me, and he goes, what? And I said, I think he broke my wrist. And he goes, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm totally fine. It just hurts.
And I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, Jett's stronger than he realizes he is. He done broke his wrist.
I said there, I was like, do you see why I say I don't want to wrestle anymore? I can't even take a high five.
Don't let him lie, because every time he gets in the ring, take pictures, that itch gets bigger and bigger.
It does a little bit, but I'll never scratch it. But anyway,
whatever.
You said Santos. He came by us and he said, "Oh, I know your podcast." And I was sitting there. I was like, "Yeah, you've been on it."
Dogged me right in front of everybody
Both of us. He said y'all said bad things about me on the show. I said I love you, kid. And then I said, F you, and I flipped him off because that kid hurt my feelings. I love that guy so much, even though he cheated against you. I love that guy.
Cheater.
But actually, yeah, that's another thing I want to get into is like where I was talking about. Like we pay a lot of attention to the guys on the roster. Like what we find what we like about who, what we don't like about who, and things like this, and we talk about it because like we're like hell with it, man. Maybe we could talk about it on the podcast. We can be like analysis, top 5 guys, like. That's something we've discussed before, but like it's consistently every week. I'm leaning over to Leon and I'm like, Jett gets better every single week. I was like, there's always something that if I'm analyzing what he's doing, I'm like, oh, I really, really like this, or wow, that was a really awesome spot. Like in Owensboro, watching you come out at the Owensboro show, this last one that I guess it was in
the Fatal 4-Way, me, Clay, Santos, Willie.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think it was. No, hold on.
No, you were in. I feel like you were in.
It was the night.
Match.
It was the night you jumped Bo outside.
Yes, it was that night.
The Fatal 4-Way. Yeah,
okay, it was the Fatal 4-Way. So we're watching the Fatal 4-Way, and I watched you come around, and I was like, okay, because I'll grade. I'll be like, okay, I like this guy, but like, yeah, you know, if I, this, maybe we get a little bit more charisma, so I'll do things like that. And I'm like, all right, I haven't made my opinion on if I'm a fan or not yet. I was like, let's see how he does in front of Owensboro, how he does in front of a hometown crowd. Is he gonna shit his pants? Is he gonna like get locked up like I did? Like the first time I ever went out and saw anybody, I was like, oh no, this is gonna go very, very badly. And it showed. No, man, you ate that crowd alive. Like it was so good. Like I was like, there we go.
And what touched us about that too is like you being in your hometown of Owensboro is not only Falcon announcing from Owensboro, Kentucky,
which was dope. Which was amazing. Felt good in my
It was the
soul.
fact of A, we saw how passionate you are about the business. B, we saw how passionate your home folk are about you. And not only because they didn't know the outcome of what the match was going to be, but when you're so connected to a place that you can go out there, give it your all, still not come out on top, and they cheer you just as much as they did when you came down, shows that yeah, there may be some that maybe have more experience than you, but you're connected more than they are, if that makes sense. And I feel
That
like
makes a lot of sense.
I feel like with the Jett Mosley character is that it's such a charismatic thing where kids love you, the elderly love you, we love you, we think you're great, and you bring something to the table that only a few guys do, like Dash and MK Munchie. There's a different feel when certain guys come out, and I think you're one of the top ones where it's like, love him or hate him, you've got to give him his flowers. Like, he may not come out on top sometimes, but he's going to give you a run for your money while you're there. So, like, when we went to Bowling Green, because that was this Saturday when you fought Bo Sawyer, right? I think that was this Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, just you coming right out of the gate was like, okay, Bo's got some anger on him, but, you know, he's going to take it to him. And I remember, like, watching you go from the apron to do the springboard, and, like, you know, everybody makes mistakes and you slip, but you caught it and you moved past it. Like, your knowledge of the business already is so advanced, I feel like, compared to some of the other people that we've seen, not only, like, not in WWE specifically, but even on WWE, AEW, TNA. So I wanted to give you props because I'm a huge mark, and I like doing that. I like making good impressions because people come and talk to me about the podcast first when they see us out in public.
What you trying to say, big dog?
I'm the face of this podcast.
Okay.
I'm the face, big fella.
Wow.
So, a little backstage stuff, like a little Unreal, if you know what I mean. I used to be a know-it-all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, sometimes I still am.
That's right.
And I'll admit it. Sometimes I'll have my days. But it took a Ray Waddell match last March in Owensboro. It was the first time back in Owensboro in 8 months. It took a Ray Waddell to humble me, and I'll always appreciate Ray Waddell for that. And he's been a big mentor, and Chris too. Both the Waddell brothers have been big mentors to me, and Alexander Knight. Those three have been big mentors to me, and I always learn something every week from them. Especially on Fridays when I go and set up with Alexander Knight and Chris Waddell, and it's always learn something new. And if I don't apply that knowledge, it's not going to get me anywhere in this business. So I have to apply the knowledge to where I can get better and to grow. So I'm glad, you're saying that I understand it. Sometimes I don't, in a way, but I gotta trust the process and actually, like I said, and apply the knowledge to want to do better and to be better and to grow on and move forward.
Well, and that's such a good, that's such a good mentality to have about anything, is just being like, yeah, sometimes I think I've got it all figured out, and then sometimes I don't have it figured out. But I gotta tell you, man, consistently you go out there, you put the work in. We were super, especially the deal with Bo. It's such a, I don't know, it's such on the nose booking to be that's the perfect two characters to fight each other. Yeah. That's perfect. We got this guy, the I guess, dare I say, the underdog here, at least compared to, Bo. That's the way the crowd will see it. Bo's a big anger monster. He should be able to just squash and walk away. And then Bo's walking around, he's bullying people, he's throwing Falcon on the ground, he's I don't know, what am I looking for?
He's just being a big
he's going around, he's just being hateful to everyone, and then like somebody gets tired of it, and that person happens to be you, and then going into everything, it's like there's no way, and then that perfect stroke of genius of being like, Tyler Hawkins is gonna come out, he's gonna interrupt the match, and like, so, like that way there's no definitive ending here, nobody looks bad.
Yep.
Everybody looked good walking away. Like, that's what I like about WWA, is we can find ways to be like, oh man, like I watched Clay Williams take a pin in the clean in the first match.
Happy I was.
And I'm like, oh, nobody walked away bad.
I was
Yeah,
so
shout
happy.
out to Willie. Yeah, and Leon's still beefing with Clay over this
Yes,
fist
and
bump
I'm
bull crap.
telling you, I will never let it live it down. And part 2 of Clay Williams, I will reinforce that statement.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. Anyway, moving on.
Now, speaking of Clay Williams, I have a wonderful question, because we've mentioned it on a couple episodes that me and Casey are fans of two things. One is gear. We love a good gear, and we love finishes. So we know that Clay Williams makes his on 2K. Are you a gamer, and did you make your gear on 2K, or was like Ray a help with that?
So my gear, not the gear now. The gear now I made, not the gear like itself, but the design I did myself. Because I didn't want to spend, God, I don't know, I think $100 on gear designs.
Right.
But my very first set of gear, the orange gear I wore in the stunt squad, and I don't know if you guys went to the Owensboro Sports Center show, but I wore some blue gear that I was going to wear originally with Josh. But that design was made when I first started. We kind of had a rough draft, and then I sent it to someone to kind of edit and revise and make it look better,
Right.
So that design, the very first design, was used 3 separate times. So I have 3 different sets of gear with the same design, just different colors. But this design right now that I'm currently wearing, I did myself. I just, with a little bit of help from somebody. It wasn't Ray, but someone had helped me get like a font for the Jett Mosley, or for the JM on the front and the Mosley on the back of the trunks. And my gear maker too. He had put a little input on the knee pads. I didn't know what to do for the knee pads, so he had did the little lines on the knee pads, and I thought that was a really good touch.
Yeah.
But that design I did myself, and I can't wait for Halloween Hell. Don't know what I'm doing yet, but I think I know what I'm doing, and I can't wait to debut a little something.
They have heard it on the Turnbuckle Weekly podcast first. Expect something from Jett Mosley.
Yeah, we're totally 1,000% gonna be at that show. I'm super excited about that show. I'm learning just recently that that's like the biggest show of the year, so that got me real excited. And
Sorry, go ahead.
oh, no, you're good. I was just gonna be like, and the fact that we're gonna be in there, see this thing for the first time, like I'm super pumped.
So every year, Halloween Hell is always a big show, and I love what we do, like with the stage and how stuff is arranged and what it looks like, and it's like our WrestleMania. It's a big thing, and last year we had part of the cage as part of the setup, but this year it's been announced that Willie Finesse and Josh Onyx are in a cage match, so we won't have the cage as part of the stage, but it's really cool when it comes to the stage and all that, and how everything can be arranged. I'm not sure what's going on with it yet, but hopefully we'll have something really cool for Halloween Hell.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I said I wanted to hit a bullet point on this, and I'm definitely going to do that now because I realized how long we could sit and talk about this, and I want to make sure that I can cover enough that we can talk about, current things. But you texted me a little bit earlier this week, and you said if I wanted any mech stories, that you'd definitely get some. And I want some because I'm going to tell you, like you've heard me say it. If you listen to the shows, anybody's ever talked to me about wrestling knows that I will talk about that guy and give that guy his flowers every single time I get a chance because of our podcast we had together and just the correspondence we shared over the following months before we just kind of fell out of touch. So I would definitely love to hear some stories because I could feel the love in that building, and I would love to have a little insight into that.
Matt, you probably heard some of them already because Chris had did his speech for Mike, and it was a very great speech. And one of them was Mike would always sit right in front of the TV to so that way everybody would know that he's right there and watching them matches, making sure you weren't going over time or anything, and he was always right there when whenever you come back to the locker room, he'd be like, "You went over, you went under, good job." And Mike was always was a good person to have around. He was somebody that had a special place in my heart. Because he was my first wrestling manager, and
Yeah.
I haven't had a manager since, and I don't know if I want one now, because I like to say that Mike was my first and my last wrestling manager. But I mean, if the opportunity presents itself,
Well, and that's one of the things too. Like when we were at the Owensboro show, the Bowling Green show. We were fortunate enough to not only see some of the big key moments with Mex and Santos. We got to experience his last match. But my heart kind of broke Saturday for Santos. I'm not going to say that you all aren't hurting because I know that you are, and we give our condolences to you guys and to the family. But I kind of can't seem to get around the fact that maybe Tyler's hurting a little bit more at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because it was his current manager. But I also think that he's maybe got some gas behind him now to maybe be like, you know what, I love Mex and he's always going to be my manager, my last manager, but I'm going to show that, hey, I'm growing, and I think in the end Tyler's really he's going to grow and he's going to be amazing.
I agree.
But, and that's another thing is like your generation, the younger guys that Mex has had such an influence in, is one that kids dream about for a long time. So how was it when you first got into the business? And of course you said that Mex was your first manager. How was it did you feel like that you could take anything to him and he would be, Chris said he was brutally honest. He'd tell you if he didn't like anything or whatever. How was it him managing you, like as a connection between you two guys?
So, Mike, I never really went to Mike anything wrestling related because I knew how brutally honest he was.
Probably a smart idea. Less feelings.
I still went to Chris and Ray and Thomas and all those guys, or Alexander Knight. Sorry. I always went to them, but if I knew I needed to go to Mex on something, I would go to Mex, and he'd be brutally honest. But Mex and I had a relationship where sometimes we didn't we didn't need to talk about wrestling. We just wanted to talk about life and how everything was going. And, you know, we were really good friends, and so that's something I will always miss. And one of my favorite things Mike used to call me was Martin. He would come up to me every week. He'd call me Martin, or he'd call me his favorite white boy.
You do realize that that's going to have to be the name of the episode now. It's Martine.
Martine.
and we'll throw a little bit of that in there, but
I'm fine with that. But no, Mike was someone that I knew I could always go to if I needed to talk about something. And he was just a presence. He made his presence known. He was always somebody that would, you know, we could laugh with, we could cry, you know, we could cry with, we can, you know, rib with, you know, we can joke. And I always remember one of these nights. It was a Bowling Green show, and either Mike or his son Mikey locked the keys in their car.
oh no.
And I was fortunate enough to stay back and try and help Mike, because I am one of the mechanics in the WWA.
Oh, nice.
Just about everybody's stuff, plus all other maintenance in the if it's needed. And I stayed back, and I keep thinking in my head to get a lockout kit if I ever need it for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike's keys were locked in his car, and so I stayed back, and I tried to help him with a metal coat hanger that the armory had, and but I just couldn't do it. So we were calling around, and Mike was on the phone with somebody, and they wanted $180, I believe it was, and Mike goes, $180? Wow, you're fucking crazy. Oh shit. Sorry.
We'll bleep you.
That's
we'll
right.
bleep you.
Yeah,
We
we'll
got
bleep
you.
it. It's okay. It's okay. We got it. We got it. No worries.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, dude.
Hey, it was a Mex thing. It's okay.
And he proceeded to hang up the phone. I laughed my butt off that day, and I'll always remember that night. Luckily, we found somebody that would do it for $60, so that was really, really cool. And I always remember leaving that night. I was like, man, I'm kind of glad I stayed, to make sure he was going to get home and all that.
You may not notice this, but on our end, you spoke as Mad Mex at 36 minutes on the dot. The same amount of time he was in the wrestling business. Can you imagine that?
36 years?
36 years.
Oh.
Imagine that.
Are you
36
watching
years, and
this?
he said the F-bomb at 36 minutes.
Are you? Well, it's 36
So,
minutes and some change.
It doesn't matter. Mosley, you have connected with Mex in a way you could not possibly imagine. It was wonderful.
With profanity.
With profanity.
Which is my favorite way.
Which is not preferred, but however,
It's
we
my
will let it
favorite
slide
way.
this
What are you
time.
talking about? That's the best way to do it.
Whatever.
I love it. It really gets my point across.
I'm sorry about the
That's
F-word.
all right. That's
Dude,
all right.
it's
We'll
hilarious.
get it out of there. It'll be
I
fine.
wish we didn't bleep them. Because it's raw and it's real, and that's how I like it. I like it raw and real, you know what I'm saying?
Sure you do.
Which, speaking of raw, you were there last night. How many times have you been before that? Was that your first, or?
No, I think that was my third Raw, and I've been to like 3 SmackDowns, I believe.
So how many of you all actually went? Because Snyder posted that he was going. I know you went. I thought there was somebody else that went.
Me, Snyder, Tyler Hawkins went with his girlfriend. Me, Game Time Onyx, Q, Clay Williams, names: referee Mason, Landon Sugars,
Oh, nice.
Tyler Santos.
Poor Santos. How did he ever get through the ticket line? How did he get through the metal detector?
And
You know he can't speak in them places.
I believe Michael Caden went.
Oh, did?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
I ran into him. A lot of us went, and it's always a good time. I know we're breaking kayfabe here, but
Hey, that's all right. See, and that's one thing that I've always wondered is going to a professional wrestling show other than, working your own matches. Because from a standpoint of us, of course, Casey, has a little bit of time in the business, so going to a wrestling show is cool. But how is it doing what you do, but going to see the leader of the whole thing? I'm sure that you all, I don't know if you do, but do you all study the matches and be like, I think we can try to take some stuff from them, or is it like I'm gonna be here one day, I'm gonna be on the big stage?
When I came into WA, I've always, with me and my big-headed ego, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna be there one day, But as I slowly am, maturing and growing and wanting to do better, I kind of want to stay in the WA. I don't want to be the one guy to, I don't want to go and leave. I mean, everybody says, oh yeah, I'm a WA guy, but I genuinely, everybody that says the WA guy then leaves the WA, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely feel like I am a WWA guy. I will love this company. I will bleed for. I will go. I will go down for. I will fight for. I've always had a love for this company because this company has something not a lot of companies do, and that's friendships, it's bonds, the love and passionate feelings for the company and for wrestling, and it's like I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's something that when I see a WWE match, I don't know if I will look at stuff to not like a move or something. Maybe I'll study how they get into stuff and how they, work things. I don't know if I study moves. I mean, I do, but I don't know if I want to watch a lot of the moves. I kind of want to study the structure of a match, the how things are going into it. Does that make sense?
It does 100%.
I was about to say, Casey, you have background. Leon might not.
Not yet, but we're gonna get there. That's the goal.
I believe you. I believe in you. It's just make sure you go to the gym.
Yeah, for real. Well, and that's the thing too that I've noticed is, this is something that I've always wanted to do, but I could never afford it. And that's what I love about what Chris and Ray have done is they treat everybody the way that they were when they were younger. They couldn't afford, training. And so, to give other people the opportunity to follow their dreams and stuff is so important to us. And that's what I've fallen in love with WWA is you can feel like when you go into an arena at a WWE show, woohoo, it's professional wrestling. But when you go to a WWA show, this is a wrestling show. This is home. And that's what I've told Casey a lot of times is like WWA just feels like home. So I get that 100%, even as a fan at the moment. Like I can feel the love and stuff in the business. So I think that's a wonderful thing. And for you to want to stay in the WWA is because a lot of guys, they're like, I'm so talented, I could totally go to these big places and just do great. But, money doesn't always make you happy. Money doesn't always get you anywhere. It means more time away from home. You don't get to see your family and all this. And to be honest, the big companies are kind of losing their touch a little bit. And that's what I love about WWA is consistently, week after week after week, your product either A, doesn't decline, it stays the same, or it just gets better and better and better. And so, we're going to... I'm going to try to not to ever go to a WWE show. I'm not going to say that I won't. But, if I can pay what I pay to get a great product, then by all means, why spend?
That's something me and Chelsea talked about the other day. Like, she watched, right, so a little backstory. Me and Leon go to Raw. He gets everybody tickets. It's like a big surprise. Because this guy's rolling in it.
Yeah,
and,
okay.
and so he gets us 4 tickets, one for him and his wife and one for me and my girlfriend, and we go up to, Louisville? We went up to Louisville and we go see Raw. And, it's a good time. We get to be at Raw. We get to see kind of how the sausage is made on TV and stuff like that, like how they do certain things and things like that. And then a couple weeks later, we go to SmackDown. Well, my girlfriend can't go to SmackDown, Alexa, we don't have anybody watch the baby, but I was like, I'll stay home with you and let them go. She insists, no, you go. This is very important to you. It's fine. Go. Have a good time. And I'm like, awesome. So I go. And I'm on my phone just like, are you okay with the baby? Do I need to start hoofing it back to Hardinsburg kind of deal? And then she tells me, she's like, no, everything's great. She goes, I'm getting ready to watch the show. I'm going to watch the show while you guys are watching it. And her experience of telling the story of what she's enjoying on TV, it's massively different than our story about what we're telling about what we're enjoying. We were like, yeah, you could kind of see Randy Orton RKO a dude onto another dude. Mm-hmm. And then hers was like, when Randy hit that RKO, oh my God, I did not see that coming. And then I go back to my memory and I was like, we saw him standing there for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, because he was standing there, and that was also because Aleister Black was there, and it was whenever he did, because everyone was like, oh my gosh, it was like a meme or whatever, they were on the shorts on Facebook. They're like, oh my gosh, Aleister Black just hit Randy Orton, and Randy went to swing on a guy and fell down. And I'm like, I didn't see any of that. What I saw was he gets kicked and he falls.
Yeah, but then he stands up to get set up off camera so he could just jump in and do it. And she's like, I didn't see that coming. And I was like, we saw that coming. So then I figured out that essentially what had happened was $140 was spent for a better experience that we could have just had if we would have spent $140 on pizza and sat in my living room. So and because I'm a value guy. I look at what I'm spending versus what I'm getting before I make a determination of whether or not this is good. I believe in being grateful, and it is very important to be grateful. I've paid this money. Did I get what I've got out of it? Well, no, but I got to do the thing. WWA shows are very different for me, to where I go there and I'm like, I'm spending $15 front row every single time, because that's how I want to go. And it's $5 more, and I get a little bit of everybody. I like a little bit of comedy. I like I get to watch Lucas Tower make an entrance. He's funny and stuff like that. He does some funny stuff and some silly stuff. I've got that. I like to see a big monster. They got that. I like tag team wrestling. They got that. So I like high flyers. They got that. It's all there. Everything I want is there.
And can I just say that going to these live shows, that the commercial breaks are totally overrated, and they're awful. I like WWE, don't get me wrong, and watching it on TV is great. But when you have to go into an arena and they're in the middle of their entrance and they get into the ring, it's like, burn it down, they're doing all Seth's music, and they're sitting there. And then, they're leaning over the ropes, and then his music shuts off, the lights go black, and you're sitting there going, what is happening? And then they're playing an ad or whatever.
Yeah, some strangers touching.
Yeah, and then he stands there, and then the music kicks right back on. And it's I never knew that this happens.
Yeah,
it takes you away from it.
It takes you out of the show.
Yeah, I don't like it.
But for the experience to just have, to be there, I'm at a WWE.
That's a kicker.
It needs to be experienced as a wrestling fan.
Could you imagine us going to WWA and then having commercial breaks where, they're in a collar elbow tie-up, and then Falcon gets on there and goes, okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and y'all are just sitting there locked up. Like, dude, like, you need a Tic Tac or something. Hey, what you got there? You got something on your eyelash or something.
Hey, you guys want to go find some rats after the show?
Yeah, and then Falcon's like, all right, we're back on. And then it's like a headlock takeover. And it would just be awful.
You know what I'm disappointed about? Because I've just said it. I'm disappointed that none of you guys that we've interviewed had ever give us any cool ring rat stories. And they've got to exist, and nobody wants to pony them up, and it upsets me. It's got to be real, right? Like
What is?
Ring rats, man. They got to be real. Like, I've only heard stories from older guys, like Bobby Wills. Well, I had a ring rat up in Memphis one time. Like, I've heard that so many times. I had one of these girls in Memphis. I had her over there, over there, over there. I've heard it 100 times. And then, like, watching Ricky Morton, and he's like, yeah, I can take you everywhere I've been in every arena with a woman.
Including that fat one right there.
No, that's Ric Flair.
I know. No, so funny story about that. I'm not going to mention any names, and I know that she does not listen to this, so I'm going to say it. We have a customer that comes into our store all the time.
Oh, my
and
God.
every time we are in Litchfield or she comes in, she's like, that Snyder, I tell you something about that Snyder. And I'm like, and she's like, whew. I'll show him how we did it back in the day. And I'm like, please don't, because he's a wrestler and he has better important things to do. And it's every time, like, I'll walk in or, like, she'll come strolling in and, like, I'll kind of glance at her and she'll go, well, hey, baby, how you doing? I'm like, what's up? She's like, you going to wrestling in Litchfield on Saturday? And I'm like, yeah, probably. Ooh, I can't wait to see that Snyder boy. Wait till I get my hands on him. And I want to puke every time.
We got to tell Snyder.
We are going to tell him Snyder.
We got to tell Snyder.
Because he has no idea about
He's
this.
not the only one, because my girlfriend's cousin is Goo Goo Gaga for Snyder.
Can I just say, though, for 44 years old, he looks great.
He does look pretty good.
He looks great.
I'll tell you. So we're talking about girlfriends and stuff. So I take my girlfriend to WWA, and she also doesn't listen to this, so I'm going to tell this story. But we're sitting there, and you come out. I think you're tagging with Lizzie that night or
Lizzie,
something.
yeah.
It was something you were doing.
Litchfield.
Yeah. So we're sitting back there, and you start coming out, and she starts looking at you real hard.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what? And she goes, I think I know him. And I said, how? I said, he's like 11 years younger than you are. I was like, so, and he's from Owensboro, so it's not school. I was like, how? And she goes, I think that's one of my patients. And I was like, really? And she goes, what's his name? And I said, Jett Mosley. And she goes, no, his real name. I said, I don't know.
And then so I pulled up Facebook and I was like, let me see.
He leans over, he goes,
Martin.
And she goes, can't break HIPAA, and then just keeps doing what she's doing. So apparently you're one of my girlfriend's patients.
Where'd she work at?
At the doctor's office across from the old hospital.
From the old hospital on Breckenridge?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, sorry, Chelsea.
But she kept going, and she was like, I think
she's like, I know
and
him.
I was like, is that one of your patients? I said, that's a really funny subject for a podcast one day. And she's like, yeah, but it breaks so many laws.
It does.
But she kept
No,
going.
I don't go to I just go to urgent care, brother.
That's right. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I think there's an urgent care in where she works at, but it might not be there.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
I go to the one over by Owensboro Middle School.
Oh, I gotcha.
she just goes, he looks like him, and she goes, and that patient is a wrestler.
I thought
So
that
I've been
they
trying
had
to
one
figure out
on
who it is
Frederica
now.
Street, right?
If you don't
All
stop,
kinds of them, and it's not Frederica, it's Frederica. Thank you very much.
Oh, I have to do this every time Casey brings up
that's
these
still not the
streets.
worst
So
pronunciation of a street in Owensboro. So my mother is from Owensboro.
Uh-huh.
She's raised in Owensboro for a good bit of her life. Had us in Owensboro. And I called her about a year ago, go get something from her, and I was like, hey, where are you at? And she's like, I'm over here at this furniture store on Brackenridge.
Oh, no.
And I said, where are you? And she said, Brackenridge. I said, no, you're not. And she said, yes, I am. I said, no, you're not, because Brackenridge does not exist. Where are you at? And she said, I am down the road from the Rolling Heights on the cross, and she starts giving me everything else because we grew up in the Rolling Heights. That's how she describes everything to me. And like, so I'm here in accordance to where you grew up your whole life and whatnot. And then I was like, I get what you're saying, but it's Breckenridge. I was like, I don't live in Brackenridge County, and it eats me alive, dog. That's why I wanted to talk to another Owensborian, because somebody's going to understand when I say that it's a civilized place that's slowly decivilizing. And then people come and they just butcher our names.
So, little backstage again. I'm actually not born in Owensboro.
Oh.
I just so happen to live in Owensboro. I'm originally born in Eastern Kentucky, out in Whitesburg, Letcher County area.
Really? Well, you live there. That's good enough for me. You live there. It's good enough for me.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm an Owensboro guy now. I'll probably be here for a while. But then after a while, at about 5 years, I moved to New York.
Oh.
You became a New Yorkie.
I was kind of hoping for a good segue, and here was a good segue to kind of get into where so I'm actually I'm born in Kentucky.
Right.
But moved to New York and then moved to Western Kentucky because my dad lived in Owensboro. But I lived with my grandfather for the longest time.
Yeah.
So you know Bobby Wilson?
Yeah.
Dude.
Sorry, Casey.
Let it go.
Sorry, I
Let
have to. Look, when my wife brings up that she has met Bobby Wilson, you know something's wrong.
Something's very unfortunate too. Before I moved to Walmart, oh God, I already hate it. I don't even want to talk about it.
Walmart?
Yeah, I'm a Walmart guy now.
So let me ask you. You work at the same one as Bo and Lizzie?
Yeah, I actually
do?
got Bo's old position.
So let me ask you a question. You took his old position.
And he was also in the middle of making a point. Let the man make his point, then ask him
Okay.
your question. Lord have mercy. I got you. If nobody's going to stand up for you, Jett, I will.
Shut up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I took Bo's old position, and I work at Walmart. But before I worked at Walmart, I worked at O'Reilly's, and I worked with Bobby Wilson's daughter for a little while. I hated her. Casey,
She also
you might
says
know
grab a
her. You know
hold.
Misty?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, no.
I know that guy's whole family, and I hate it.
Oh, dude. I don't know how he's still kicking.
Casey, don't you know that he
Listen.
was your favorite trainer you could have ever had?
No, dude, I should have went to OVW. Because when I started doing everything, I think the Waddells were still in the backyard, and I hadn't heard about them at that point. But no, like I should have known something was wrong when I went in there and I was like, "Hey, I want to do this," and he was like, "Whoop scoop, you know, whatever whoop scoop, whatever he says," and that's my impression of him. I used to do that all the time and make everybody laugh, and then he'd come in, "What's so funny?" And I'd be like, "Nothing." And he probably doesn't talk that high. Like, it's been so long since I've heard him talk.
No, he does.
But to me, that's
He does.
how he always sounded. He sounds like it's from a movie I like where he's like, the guy's in the gym and he's like, "Oh yeah, thanks for hooking me up over there with Mickey Mouse or whatever." And the guy's like, "Give me everything you got," and he's just really high pitched. That's what he reminds me of, but with a southern accent. And yeah, I should have known something that was wrong when I walked in there, and I was like, "I'd like to train," and he was like, "Whoop scoop," you know, whatever. And then when I asked him about payment, he was like, "Just a little bit here and there," or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, he's just letting me do this on like a handshake deal. Maybe I'll give him some money today. Maybe I won't." That should have been what the red flag was. And then like I'm asking my dad. We didn't have the greatest relationship, but I asked my dad. I was like, "Are you familiar with him outside of furniture?" And he was like, "Yeah, I used to go watch him in the gardens all the time. You know, job to Fargo and Lawler and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "So is he any good?" And he's like, "I mean, I guess he can teach you how to fall down." And I was like, "All right, that's all I need." You know, I was on drugs. I didn't care. I just wanted to be a wrestler and do drugs. Like, I thought that was the life. And so I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And that was the other problem, is I was very open that I love to get high and not on weed. And he was like, yeah, it's whatever. And that also should have let me know that there were red flags there. But he did. And then, yeah, that day just didn't work out, man. Like, I really wish I would have waited. Like, but my thought process was, I'm 18. How much longer do I have to get started on this? I don't want to be 22 and be an old man. Like, you know, so I made a mistake with it. I'm hoping Leon does not repeat the same mistakes, because I had the same kind of thing like you were talking about, like this know-it-all mentality. Like, I pride myself on knowing wrestling. I pride myself on having a mind for it. At least I think I got a mind for it. So when I get, especially back then, I would get on little kicks about things, man. You couldn't tell me nothing. Like, I would be like, this is what we're going to do. And I could be working with somebody that's a 30-year veteran, and then been like, no, dude, this is what gets over. And then my response was usually things like, dude, you knew what got over in the 90s. This ain't the 90s. Like, it was this young bucks mentality is what I called it. Like, I just thought, yeah, this match needs way more moonsaults and 450 splashes. Like, that's the things I was doing. Now I'm paying attention to it differently. So, do you find that now you're able to, like, really know where to put things, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. To kind of piggyback off what you were saying about that know-it-all mentality, I would love to hear the good stuff, but when they would say, but, you know, I would kind of tune that out. But now I've been always making sure I hear what I can fix and what I need to, because like I said earlier, in order to be better, in order to grow and move forward, you got to listen. So when knowing to where to put something, I have been a lot better on something. There was one time where I had a practice match where I hit a Falcon Arrow out of the blue, just right then and there, right in the shine too. And that was like when I was like, yeah, this is great, you know. And that was a stupid decision.
Like, and that's generally the way it goes too. Is like, that's what I tell this guy over here. Like, when it comes down to getting ready for training and getting ready to do all this and coming up with your gimmick, like, he's got a gimmick in his mind that he likes, and it's fine. He does it for our other YouTube stuff. He does like a trampoline wrestling thing that he does with another buddy of ours. They get and do matches and stuff. He had like gear made for it and stuff. But he hits me with the gimmick and he asks me what I think about it, and I don't exactly give him the answer that he wants. I tell him what he needs to hear. So
I'm for it.
And I've softened the blow and been like, hey man, you're going to look back at this in like 10 years and you're going to say, why did anyone let me do that? I said, you're going to have matches like that. You're going to have spots like that. You're going to have a spot that you're going to fight your ass off for. And no one's going to be able to tell you any different. And you're going to do that spot and no one's going to react.
Yeah.
No one cares. I was like, and you think, oh my God, everyone's going to, you know, I'm going to get a Road Warrior pop for this. No, man, you're going to get go away heat for it, and you're not going to understand what happened. And then a few years later, you're going to be asleep and you're going to wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat and being like, man, I shouldn't have put that moonsault there. Like, why did I do that?
Sorry.
No, go for it. Go for it.
I was going to tell Leon, think of more than just one gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be open.
If you pitch one and it doesn't go well, you have another one to pitch. And then if that one, you know, it's like, it's hard to explain without giving it all away. But,
yeah. Well, see, he sent it to Chris because he was like, hey, he's like, Leon's bound and determined about this tryout, and I'm going to help him in every way I can to make the tryout. And Chris told him, you know, there's no guarantee you'll be selected, but I'll definitely give you a shot as long as you put the work in. And he's putting the work in, and he decided, like, he was excited one night. His gear was on the way. He wanted to tell Chris what he's thinking, and he does. And Chris does, like, the classiest move. It's the classiest way to tell somebody, hold on a minute. Like, it was he goes, okay, you know, he's like, cool, but like, that's not, no, I don't want to do that, because don't pull out your phone for receipts, because that's where it gets muddled. I'm going to paraphrase. He just said,
it was
like,
a long drawn out, like, hey, listen.
Yeah, slow down.
Yeah. Which was great.
Your
Which was
gimmick
great.
fits my needs, and that's what he said. And like I was like, that's what I told you.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I'm telling you, man. Everybody thinks the indies is I'm gonna walk into this promotion. I've just started. I'm gonna walk in here and I'm gonna make them put the title on me in 6 months. No, dude, you'll be lucky to get a match in the first 6 months. You need to be like ready to go at all times, but also ready to just be setting up the ring and cleaning up spills for a little while, brother. Like, and they're not just gonna trust you with a gimmick. They're gonna give you what they want to give you, and they're gonna let you go. The only way you get to do that is if you're somebody like Ray Waddell or somebody established. Like even you work for other companies, correct?
So no, this
Oh,
was the first ever company when I tried out. I haven't had any no prior pro wrestling experience.
No, I mean,
until I joined the WWE.
like since you've started, you've wrestled other promotions, right?
So actually, my first booking outside the WA is hours before Halloween Hell, where it has been announced I'm wrestling Snyder in UPW in Bowling Green for Randall Shane's United Pro Wrestling.
So you guys are gonna wrestle that, and then you're gonna get in the car and go to Bowling Green,
Go to Litchfield.
or go to Litchfield.
Yeah, so the show starts at 11 in the morning, so we have ample time.
Oh, I was gonna say, dude, you are gonna be blowed up by the time you get to Litchfield, brother.
I'm excited to work. I love wrestling. Whenever I'm sad we don't have a show this weekend because I always have something to look forward to every weekend. I get to see my friends. I get to get to wrestle. I get to I get to do all this exciting stuff. But whenever there's no show on the weekend, I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do this weekend? I have nothing to do.
So are there weekends when you all don't have shows?
Yeah, so like this weekend we don't have a show. There's some times where people will take off, like request off and all that stuff. Like there was a few times this year I had to request off, and keep in mind I did not want to.
Gotcha.
I did not. I hate taking time off. I still go to the setups though. I just because I'm taking time off doesn't mean I'm not going to go to setup.
Right.
But the girlfriend had weddings that she wanted to go to. One she was involved in, so I kind of had to go to that one. But
That's what's gonna kill us for the next Owensboro show. Like we showed up in Bowling Green, or when we showed up in Litchfield, and Jen sees us, she comes over and she goes, "Hey," and we're like, "What's up?" She goes, "No more missing."
Yeah, she's like,
And
you
we-
all cannot miss another show.
And we were like, "Listen, life happens and work and stuff like that." I was like, we just couldn't avoid it. And then
when we showed up in Bowling Green, she was like, you all made it. We were like, we wouldn't miss. We're not going to miss this.
And then so we told her, we're going to try really, really hard not to miss anymore. And then I look at the calendar, the show calendar, the next Owensboro show on the 11th. I'm DJing a wedding.
Yeah, but we may be able to squeeze out of there in time.
Yeah, I might be able to squeeze out in time to be like, hey, we're going to the wrestling show. But I got to full on DJ a wedding. And
wrestling's more important, brother.
Well, see, my buddy, he works with us. We play D&D together and stuff like that, and we kick it and play video games. And he hits me up and he's like, "Listen, I'm getting married. Our budget's eat up by the venue. I need a DJ. You're a musician." And I was like, those two things do not correlate to one another. He's like, "Can you press play on a playlist?" And I was like, "Dude, not only will I do that for you, but I'll do that for you. I'll take care of it."
I get to be co-DJ.
I was like,
fun.
"Yeah, I'm gonna put him up in the booth with me," and I'm basically just grabbing microphones and being like, "Hey, who wants to dance with the lady and the gentleman today?" And doing wedding crap. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in there and be like, "Listen, you're down to your last 2 songs. We're in Pine Knot. We gotta hit Owensboro. See ya." Hopefully they get married early in the day. I'm hoping it's not an evening wedding like a bunch of assholes.
Probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon, bro.
Dude, that's the worst. I hate weddings. I think weddings are weird.
The one wedding I went to was at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was an outside wedding, so it was burning hot.
Oh my God, I hate those, dude.
And the other one I went to, the second one that my girlfriend wasn't involved in, it was in New Albany, Indiana, and they were an hour ahead of us.
Right.
I made myself late to the wedding because I forgot that the hour time that there was the time zone change. So we missed the wedding, but still made it to the
Reception.
reception. Yeah,
Dude.
And I felt so bad. I told my friend that got married, I said, I'm sorry, I missed the wedding. If there's anything you need me to do, I got you.
Look, so when me and Tab got married, so our wedding was supposed to be at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And so I'm a nervous wreck. I'm like, man, I was like, I'm gonna screw this up, and my guys ain't gonna be ready, and we're just, it's gonna be so bad. And we get there, and I'm like, whew. I was like, okay, I got 2 minutes. Let me get some final breaths in, and we'll get rocking and rolling. And then I looked at my watch. 3:05. Where are the girls at? 3:15.
We're ready.
Where are the girls at? 3:45. They're like, okay, they're ready. I'm like what? So I'm like, man, I was like, usually the guys are the ones that are either A, late to the wedding, or B, are like, and then it was like, I can't believe I made myself nervous for a wedding that wasn't going to start till almost an hour after everybody done got here. Like, everybody was looking around, looking at their watches, and I'm like, I'm gonna puke.
Brother,
I'm going to
when
puke.
I got married, see, I was on time because we did it after church. We had church service, and then we got up and we got married after that because I didn't have any family here and none that I wanted to invite. I just get married in front of the church. I didn't really care. I didn't want to get married. That's what I was being. That's what I was being told I had to do. So that's what I did. I got married, and at my reception, I'm not even joking. Like, we did a thing. My ex-wife surprised me. I have this like really big connection with the hymn "Old Rugged Cross," and they played that on piano as I was walking out.
Dude, that's my great grandfather's favorite.
Yeah.
My mom used to sing that to me at night to put me to sleep.
Oh, dude.
And
I'm sorry that I love
The song's
No,
awesome.
no. And like, even though I'm not within the faith anymore, I still will be like, dude, like, there's just some hymns that like hit me, like "Fly Away" and stuff like that. Some of them will hit me, especially like I hear bluegrass versions of them, and I'm like, oh, because I love me some bluegrass, and I'm like, oh my god, man, you get a mandolin and a couple banjos, and you got me, brother. And so that's playing. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I went into the reception. I saw all of my then wife's family. They were trying to give us gifts, and I went, nope, and I took my suit off. I had a tank top and basketball shorts underneath. I went outside and shot basketball. Like that.
During your reception?
My entire reception.
Oh my
I was just like,
goodness.
my wife would come to the door and
No
she'd be like,
wonder your ex-wife hates you.
no, that's for different reasons.
Oh my, well, yeah, but
she was a big
oh my
fan of me then.
gosh.
But she opens up like the door to the fellowship hall and sees me out there shooting. I'm like, Kobe, and like just draining threes. And I was drunk and on heroin, so that's impressive. All right, that's impressive, son. Impressive. And like, so I'm sinking these threes, and then she's like, hey, you gonna come in and get something to eat? And I was like, no, that sounds awful. Swish, swish. And like, she goes, okay. And then, the honeymoon started, and then I went to work 2 days later, and I was like, all right, and we're married. And then it was awful for 12 years.
The first couple years you said were okay.
They were okay. I thought about that. Me and her talk all the time now about the kids, and I'm like, all right, I hate you. And she's like, all right, cool. And then we'll get off the phone. But no, like, and she was also like not a fan of the wrestling. The kids have started taking it out on her now, and she called me and she's like, can you quit telling them it's my fault? And I was like, it is.
Yeah.
And I said, it is your fault.
Well, and I don't think it would have been so bad if she wasn't like, you're never going to make it. Like, you aren't going to do
That's
this.
what she did, brother.
Yeah. And I think maybe now because I've only known you for a couple of years, and I feel like we're doing okay.
Whatever, dude.
As long as you don't try to hold my hand in public. I feel like that maybe if she hadn't had told you that, maybe you'd still be in the business.
Absolutely not.
But you might be. You might
No,
be.
you don't want to know why?
Why?
Because sandwiches were better. That's just how it was, man. Yeah, look at the gut, brother. 185 to holy shit.
What kind of sandwiches were you eting?
All of them.
Burgers included.
I'd walk into Kroger and be like, give me all of the ham. And because I worked there. But I feel like we've gotten off track here.
We have.
This has just become, hey, we got Jed Mosley. piss on my ex-wife. That's how we've just gone.
It's been fun though. It's fun.
What's another question?
Yeah.
Well, see, I've got one more. On here, and then we're going to do our little closing bit. But Leon likes this question. He loves talking about how people come up with their finishers, and I'm going to tell you why. Is because he has done the same finish about 12 different ways to show it to me. I've been like, is that a good one? So like he is zeroed in on like how do we come up with our finishes. So for you, how did you land on what you ended up landing on? Because I know there's a process, and nobody ever keeps that same that first finisher. It's always changed. So where did we start, and where did we land, and why?
So there was three. I think I was trying to go through 3 or 4 different finishes. It started out. I really wanted to do the headlock driver. Big fan of it. Yes, this was way before Tyler Santos.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Yeah. All right.
But I couldn't do it because Josiah was doing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like Santos told us that.
Santos did say that.
Piss on you, Santos.
So I was doing a modified version of it, kind of. Or I wasn't doing it, as I was trying it. It was Bailey's Rose Plant.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's a good move. I dig that move.
It's pretty nice.
It just didn't fit the character.
Right.
So then I was back and forth between Cody's Disaster Kick
Ooh.
as my finish or the SOS.
I like to do the SOS.
I could do it, the SOS, but I can only do it on certain people.
Gotcha.
Right.
And then I did the Disaster Kick for a little bit. So when I started shows, the Disaster Kick was my finish. But then Ray Waddell was telling me I should really switch, because as a move, I would used to do the Impaler DDT. I still do it because it's my finish now.
Right.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yep. See, I knew that.
So the Impaler DDT and the Disaster Kick were mixed back and forth between the Disaster Kick or the Impaler, and I would always flip-flop back and forth. Like, I really wanted to do the Disaster Kick as a finish because I can do it on everybody, but I can do the Impaler DDT on just about everybody, but it would look more impactful. It's more of a, I don't know, it's weird for me. I can't explain it. But when I started, I was always back and forth between what's my finish, how am I going to get into it, what can I do, And so it took, Ray was like, you should really do this, here's why, which was, it's something that will look more impactful, it's something that's different and all that. And so ever since then, I've used the Impaler DDT as my finish, and I love a good DDT. I've always loved.
Such a good move.
I love DDTs.
I've really got the Impaler from Bobby Roode, because Bobby Roode was my time in wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But obviously, I knew who Gangrel was. I knew what his move was. So I've always loved the Impaler. It's been a great finish to me. It's easy. I love the ways I can get into it sometimes. And here recently, I did a Disaster Kick as a finish of a match. Because sometimes you just got to do it,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's no different than like Sami Zayn catching a win off the Blue Thunder Bomb. It's like sometimes you don't need the finish to get it done. You just need something that gets you 3 seconds.
Or John winning with the 6 for Doom.
See, I wish I was as streamlined on this when I was trying to do this wrestling, like to be like, yeah, well, it's either this or this. No, I sat down and I was like, all right, what can I actually do?
Yeah.
Flatliner.
The prism lock, which you claim you invented.
Listen, have you ever had that, Jett, where like you're working on a move and then you like figure out a way to execute it and you're like, I think I made a move up, and then later on you find out that somebody's doing it?
Yeah.
He claims that Rhea Ripley stole his
It is
move.
not a claim. Rhea stole it from me. I was doing it while she was popping zits. No, she wasn't even popping zits, son. She was like 5 years old.
Have you texted her on Instagram and told her that?
No,
Are
because
you talking about the pump handle?
No. So she does that little. She calls it the prism hold or the prism lock or something.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
that
that.
one.
It's like that Billy Goat's curse, but done like a clover leaf. Well, my brother used to do a move. He had the dumbest wrestling character from the backyard. His name was Joker. He had a move.
Oh.
Yeah, I know it's the cringiest shit in the world.
What was yours?
Mine was. Oh hell, I don't even remember.
Okay, skip that. What was yours after you trained with Bobby Wilson?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But like, so my brother had a move called the No Laughing Matter. That's what he called
Okay.
it. He stole it from Bill DeMott. Bill DeMott used to be a character called Hugh Morris, and he did a moonsault, and he called it No Laughing Matter. My brother stole the name, and it was where he would put me in like an STF. He'd cross my legs over, but he wouldn't put his leg in there. He would do it from the side, and then he would grab my legs with one arm, and then he would grab my head and make my
Squeeze them together.
make my feet touch my head, because I was, he was a lot bigger than I was then. Now I'm bigger than him, and it's hilarious. But he would put me in that move, so I started thinking about it, and I was like, how can I make that move my own? So I tried a whole bunch of things and never could do it. So one day I was like, what if I did it like this? Because I saw a video of Colt Cabana do something called the Billy Goat's curse. It's like the walls of Jericho, but you're turned the other way.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if I did that with a clover leaf? And then 10 years later, I'm watching the second Mae Young Classic, and I see Rhea Ripley do it, and I threw my Coke out the window. Like I'd stopped drinking beer while I was watching wrestling because I was getting too rowdy, and then I'm sitting there drinking a soda, and I just chuck it out the window. And like the window was up, obviously. I'm not a psychopath, but like I was mad. And no, I'm not going to text Rhea and tell her, because then I'll never be able to get close to her. Man, that's creepy, but that's how I meant it. I do that all the time. Like last night I was watching wrestling and she got sprayed down, and my old lady's like, what happened? And I was like, Asuka just misted her, and somehow she's hotter. And then she goes, I'm
And
going
your
to
pants
bed.
fit
Yeah,
better.
she's like, I'm going to bed. And I was like, my britches feel funny. Come back here. And then,
Lord.
I didn't understand how much mist there was. There's normally never that much mist. And when I saw her covered in mist, I'm like, why is there so much?
Just why is there so much
Yeah.
mist? Like Tajiri, I thought was the one that packed the most. Like I love the mist. I've always been a Muda guy my whole life. So that's the reason I was like submissions. Like I could do submissions because Muda could just run and kick you in the face and throw you in a cool lock.
Yeah.
I figured out all kinds of submissions. Anyway, he's trying to make fun of my gimmick. It was bad. It was terrible. It's not as terrible as what it was gonna be.
What was it going to be?
It was gonna be like a hillbilly guy because he heard me making fun of him,
Oh, gotcha.
and he thought I was doing a gimmick.
Gotcha.
I was doing him. I would literally be like, I'm going to get you in the ring. I'm going to grab a hold. Whoop, scoop. Goddamn. And I would do that. And I would just like have cowboy guns in the air. And he was like, it's a cowboy character. And I was like, please don't do that. So what I pitched to him was what Matthew McConaughey played in the movie The Dark Tower. That's a graphic novel series, and I like The Man in Black. So I was like thinking as like the gunslinger and The Man in Black, and I pitched him, and he didn't get it. He was like, just go out there and do whatever. So I did, and it was awful. It was the worst. But now we have rambled for about an hour and a half.
Yep.
So now we've come to the very last question, and I've got to do the stupid intro with it too because it's fitting now. Leon and I are very big proponents in hindsight being able to look back and being able to say, okay, if I could do X, Y, and Z differently, this is what I would do. This is why I would do it. So let's take you back to a young Jett Mosley, just getting started, just getting training. You ain't even really had a match yet. You're just in the thing. What is something you would go back and tell yourself then to help you, maybe get past something that was a struggle for you later?
Ooh,
Oh, that's a good one.
that is a good one. I do remember this question because it's told on every podcast.
Yeah, I'm the Barbara Walters of the podcast world.
I think if something I would tell my younger self, just getting in business, I don't know if anybody's said it yet, but stay humble.
Okay.
Because I walked in kind of young. I was 16 years old. I was the most unhumblest person you can think of. But then again, I was young. I wasn't mature. I wasn't, but I'd say stay humble, leave the ego at home, and be prepared to learn, because there's times where, I feel like didn't learning because I thought I was a know-it-all, back to the know-it-all stuff. It's kind of hard to explain. I feel like I'm just rambling now.
No, that answer was pretty solid.
No, that's perfect. Like,
I feel like if I told my younger self to stay humble, I feel like I would be a little bit more, I wouldn't say intelligent, but a little smarter on how things can be done in the business, or how I can do things in the business. I'm still learning. I still have a lot to learn. There's always room for growth. And I mean, honestly, that's something I'd like to tell everybody, that's trying to get in the business, is to stay humble. Because if you're not humble, nobody's going to want to work with you.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to, talk to you. There's a lot of times where you may not even make a lot of friends. And that's how it was at first when I first joined. I wasn't the greatest guy to be around. I was an a-hole. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't always the greatest guy to get along with until I grew and wanted to do better. And now I have friends with everybody in the WA. I'm friends with everybody. And I always, I always look back at my younger self and think, why was I being that guy, So something I will tell my younger self is to stay humble, leave the ego at home, and be prepared to learn.
Bro, that's probably the best answer we've gotten to that question, and we've gotten some pretty good ones to that question.
Definitely.
Well, guys, now comes the time of the show where we start to wrap up and we say goodbye. But before we wrap up and we say goodbye, Jett, I just want to give you a few seconds to go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you out there, where they can see you, wrestle, and plug anything you need to. And then once you're done with that, we'll get you wrapped up, brother.
Well, I want to thank you guys for having me on.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
It's not the last time
Always
either.
a pleasure. Oh, I know. I'm ready for that in-person one. It's going to happen. Whenever we're in Owensboro, it's got to happen.
Oh, dude. I'm gonna make it happen.
It can happen. I'm ready. I'm already ready. But y'all can find me on Facebook at Jett Mosley. Or you can find me at your local WWA shows. Not this weekend. We're unfortunately off this weekend. But next weekend in Livermore, Kentucky for, I don't remember the show name. But I know I will be there. I have a few words I know I would like to say about Tyler Hawkins. Hopefully when I'm there. And you can see me in Owensboro. You can see me anywhere at your local WA show. Or you can see me at the Walmart on 54 because, I hate my job.
I'm going to do that, too, next time we're in Owensboro and we're shopping, because that's where we do it. We work at a grocery store, and it's cheaper to drive an hour to go shopping than shop where we work. So, I go to Walmart down there especially a lot because, as Chelsea says, the Fredica Walmart is the ghetto Walmart. That's the one I worked at, so I'm a little offended about it, but she's right. And
when did you work there?
Let's see, hold on. Sammy is 12, I would say 2011, 2012.
Okay, never mind.
Ish, yeah. It was a super long time ago.
I was going to ask if you knew my girlfriend, but never mind.
I was 18, so
that'd be about right.
Yeah, that'd be about right. Like 2010, 2011. Yeah, because I was 18. I remember I was suspended from Kroger because Kroger's a union. I told the manager that if he kept talking to me while he was talking to me, I was going to go monkey stomp his brains out of his head. And because I was aggressive. I was aggressive as a
Monkey
teenager.
stomp.
I'm still kind of aggressive,
Yes.
but it's less aggressive now. Now I don't tell you I'm going to monkey stomp you. I just do it.
Yeah.
And then we walk away. We won't get into that. But
Yeah, we won't.
so like it was just it's a whole thing. And then I went same day I got suspended, went down to Walmart, put in an application, told them that I was on suspension pending and that I was fully union. And at that time Walmart was on there. We're not anti-union, we're pro-employee. That was their kick. Because they had a reputation for shitting on the unions all the time. And I ended up getting fired because I had a seizure. I'd never had a seizure before. And I had a seizure and I got put in the hospital and I didn't call in.
Yeah.
I was in a medically induced coma. My wife at the time was 6 months pregnant with our son, and so no, it would have been 2011, 2012 is what it would have been. So like she's 6 months pregnant with our son. They're telling her that I'm gonna die. And like she calls Walmart because she worked there, and she was like, but she had quit, but she had worked there. She knew him, and she calls him, and she's like, Casey's in a hospital bed, and they're gonna die. We don't really know. And they were like, hey, just keep us updated. And then when I woke up, like they let me come out of my little, I call it my benzo coma, because they were just pumping me full of Ativan to put me back to sleep all the time. And I woke up and they were finally gonna let me be awake. And my ex-wife called the store and was like, he's awake. And they were like, okay, awesome. And then I get home to a letter in my mailbox saying I was terminated for not showing up to work for 10 days.
Nice.
I was in a hospital bed.
In a coma.
And they fired me. So I have sworn that company off. I'll shop there because it's a good choice for certain things. I'm a family man. I got to put my pride behind me, but you could not pay me enough to work for the Waltons ever again. Like none of their stores.
I know we're trying to get off the podcast, but a backstory. I didn't want to go to Walmart, but they were paying me more than working at O'Reilly's.
Oh, always.
Oh, nice.
As much as I hate it already, I hate thirds, and I don't mind the job, but I hate it because the management's crap.
Yep.
But the one thing that Walmart was guaranteeing me was Fridays and Saturdays off. At O'Reilly's, I wasn't guaranteed that.
Bad.
So that was one of the big reasons why I left. Now, when they were doing the counter offering, they said we can guarantee you Saturdays, but not Fridays. And Fridays, like I said, I'm a big guy at setup, and I need to make sure I'm there, because if I'm not there, then I feel like I'm not saying that I'm letting the company down. I feel like I need to be there just because I've been going for so long now. I feel like I'm a big part of it, and I'm not saying, like I said, I don't feel like I'm letting anybody down, but I feel like I'm letting myself down because I'm not there.
And see, guys, that's a work ethic to go to sleep with tonight. That's a thought to give, man. Guys,
What a great way to end the show.
That's awesome in a positive manner, telling people don't be lazy. Like, that's what I love about life.
Don't be lazy, kids.
Don't be lazy. Read. And do your homework and read and such. Say yes to hugs and no to drugs, or whatever cliche thing I could do. Say yes to some drugs, not all. Some drugs are fine. Hey, caffeine, nicotine, they're fine. In small doses. It's the Tylenol you got to stay away from, guys.
We're not
It's the
getting into
Tylenol.
that. We're cutting it off.
All right, guys, we love you. Love yourselves, love each other, and if you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. Thanks, Mom.